Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the WCA America Qualifiers. We are here with 8 of the top teams in North and South America. We are into our first round of games, of course, best of 3 series, single elimination. We're into this best of 3 series between Team eHug and NAR. Already into game number 2, the draft getting underway. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mott. With me is Trouf, of course. And, well, we're going to get right into the game, Trouf. That first game, good stuff from both squads, but really it was actually just NAR playing so damn well in terms of just moving around the map, getting objectives. They lost a couple of fights, honestly, and eHug just, they couldn't find maybe their footing. They couldn't really defend up against a Tiny with that much damage, with an Aegis as well. That was the biggest issue. They just didn't seem like they had any clear plan of what they want to do with item timings and moving around. Like I said, I think they should have just fought earlier with Mech, and you can't let Wisp Tiny get out of hand like that, especially when they're being uncontested in the safe lane. In the mid lane, it's a little bit easier to kind of put pressure onto him because that's the focal point of the map. It's easier to kind of get in and get out. It's also quite easy to gank the dire mid lane. So the fact that they put him in the safe lane, they wanted to secure that farm, and they didn't go aggressive onto him. I don't mean aggressive as in tri-lane, but pick up their items and then go. They died a couple times in the Phoenix. He got very, very slow levels. They saw the Clockwork pick up a haste rune. They saw all of it. They pinged it out, and they still died from it. That was kind of a mistake, so they weren't ready for that, or just... He was also trying to go for tons of raises. I'm wondering if he just went for auto attacks, he would have maybe got the kill. That's debatable. It's hard to say. But needless to say, they saw him coming with the haste rune, still died to it. And that kind of sucks, especially when it's your off lane. So I think it was like something around 12, 13 minutes. I looked at MSS's stats, and it was again like 3-0 and 4 or something. Like, I always see him coming out with very good scores. It's not just one game. It's not like it's a lucky fluke. I really feel like he's kind of the one that gets things, gets the ball rolling for this team. I feel like his Clockwork is right up there probably with Bulba's. I'd honestly say he's played so well in that hero in particular, and not just that hero also, but just in general when he's in the offlane, he's played so well. I was going to say, if that Ursa got through, it was going to be first pick by eHug, so North American rejects know this. They banned it out immediately. Clearly these two teams think very highly of that hero. We have yet to see, like, it's such a small sample size that I can't say, like, this hero's amazing. One hero that I can say has been picked a ton and still, I think, maintains that 100% pick ban rate is the Queen of Pain that eHug will go for here. Yep, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see Winter Wyvern picked up. It didn't look too impressive for Team eHug last game, but I don't think that's... I still think the hero is ridiculously strong. We saw yesterday just how strong it can be with Root. It's a nice lockdown for Queen of Pain. If you're looking for ways to lock her down and stop her from blinking, that ultimate's perfect. The damage output from level 1... They also, I mentioned this as a little bit, but they could have done a lot better job of protecting the bounty rune and stifling that from the Wisp, who desperately wants that. It's like the Alchemist yesterday, which we saw get the bounty rune. It's the same kind of concept. Yeah, exactly. Because Alchemist, you really want to get the bounty rune, but that also means that you're generally not leveling up your 2 fighting abilities because you want to get that extra 400 gold. Right. With Wisp, it's like he has no armor. He has no spells. He has a little bit of extra movement speed, which is nice, but Tiny is not that impressive at level 1. It looks scary, like, Wisp Tiny, but it's really actually not that great level 1. Tiny also doesn't have very much armor. I don't think he has any armor as level 1. Maybe 1 they changed it? It might be 1, I'm not sure. I think it's still, I'll have to double check, but regardless, they're not the greatest level 1 heroes, and I think they could have done a little bit better, especially with Winter Wyvern. But anyway, they open it up this game, this time with a Spirit Breaker. Very good against Co-op. Very good in general, I think. Yes. I don't think there's a game where it's like Spirit Breaker's not good here, unless you... They can combat this, and there's a couple of ways. One is to have lots of vision around the map. So Beastmaster's quite good to have the Hawk up and see the potential charges. Natural Lincoln's carriers are good. Just keeping wards up on the river. Also, what's good is building an entire team of tanky supports. I always thought traditionally when Ogre was popular that he was a really good hero against Spirit Breaker because he doesn't like support... He likes to pick on support heroes also that just die to a charge Nether Strike. So heroes like, I don't know, just any squishy support hero that already has his spells on cooldown. They're very easy for Spirit Breaker to kill. But if they're like tanky heroes like Ogre, Jakiro for a long time was popular. I think generally going for some kind of tanky strat is pretty good against Spirit Breaker. I also think instant disables, because Spirit Breaker does, like, unless you're charging from the fog, which does happen a lot if you, like, look at the, you know, like, top lane, he charges in, he gets from the tree line, and somebody in that dire off lane doesn't see it or something like that. Maybe you get the kill, but at the same time, if you have an instant disable like a Hex, you could turn around, you could get that Hex up, you could, or even Ogre like you were talking about. Fire Blast is pretty pretty quick in terms of cast point and getting that stun off. So there's ways to deal with the Spirit Breaker charging in, although it's hard. So, but I think you're right. Tankier heroes definitely work better against Spirit Breaker. Doesn't work really well against the Spirit Breaker is Broodmother, as we saw yesterday. Spirit Breaker apparently loves Broodmother if you have the heroes to combat it. But
yeah, that was just very impressive personal skill from Ifrit. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, but you should, because Spirit Breaker is very good against Brood, and they had Brood, and he just couldn't do anything for like a good 25 minutes, but he still managed to get things done. And that's very hard to do against a Spirit Breaker when you're a hero that it's very easy to be killed with a charge.
Yeah.
So they pick up a Clockwork. Pretty good against Spirit Breaker. It's a strength hero. You can cogs him in. You can disrupt his chain of initiation with Battery Assault or a hook of your own, things like that. So I'm okay with that pick.
The resurgence of Rasa as well. A couple patches ago, TI4, Shadow Shaman top tier pickup hasn't seen the light of day as much recently, but now you have tower pushing. You have really good disables from both of your supports. I mean, probably both of your supports. There's a good chance Spirit Breaker is going to be played in the support role, although offlane is generally accepted as well. So both supports, you have one tanky, one, squishy, but at least he has really good disables coming out. The Master Rewards obviously being the big factor for the Shadow Shaman, a very good ability there from North American Rejects V2. So they get both their supports up early. For Team eHug, they realize, okay, let's focus on Ush right now. They ban out the anti-mage. They did ban out the IO, which I think was very important. Not many people were banning out IO recently, so they take that out of the pool as Fog played it very well last game. On the other side, the Lina ban coming through, they just don't want to play against that hero, and that's fair. And then another ban coming out as well.
The Leshrac is kind of, I think, the popular hero of this patch, and will be the one that kind of explodes as the new carry. Just tons of damage, especially with the extra, items that are on the board. So Earthshaker's going to be another hero for North American Rejects. Now we don't know 100% sure if that's going to be a support Earthshaker or a support Spirit Breaker. I imagine MSS will play the Spirit Breaker though. I think he plays that more than the Earthshaker. So I'm imagining it's going to be an Earthshaker plus Shadow Shaman support duo. Probably the ES for Chad, and then I'd imagine Fogged will take the Shadow Shaman.
Fogged has played a very good Earthshaker as well. I don't know. I honestly, between these two people, they have kind of the same hero pool, but at the same time they have such a vast hero pool that it doesn't really matter. So Fogged and Bleak can both play both of these heroes. We'll have to wait and see. And theoretically, it also could be an offlane Earthshaker, but I don't know if we'll see that coming out from the set of North American Rejects. On the other side for eHug, they have 1 minute left on reserve time. They will grab up a hero in just a moment. Oh, God, no. All right, that's not good. But anyways, last hero is going to be, or this next hero is up at 50 seconds. They already have the Queen of Pain, they have the Clockwork, so mid, off lane. They could go safe lane Quap, probably not. So they need to grab some supports here. A couple of them have already been banned out. Lina, Rubik, Venge is still available. I think that's the most important one. So, good stuff there.
Oh, Visage. I like Visage now in this patch. Very fast pickup of Shadow Fiend. A couple things. One, they could still easily go Earthshaker in the offlane. That's still not out of the question. It is a little interesting, though, that I think about it, that they picked ES into Clock. Clock is thought of as a pretty damn good hero against Earthshaker because it's just, you get hooked and you don't have a Force Staff, you're dead. Like, you can't cast any spells with that constant Battery Assault stopping your channeling, so it's a pretty damn good hero against Earthshaker, but they pick it into the Clock, so. Anyway, Shadow Fiend picked up here, 4th position for NAR. Nothing wrong with that. Pretty damn good all-around mid-hero. And they pick it a lot, so.
I think Ush plays that more, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. I don't think Korak plays it that much. I think he's going to go mid, then Korak will... Maybe I've seen them do like an Ush mid carry and then Korak like safe lane initiator. Like Centaur has been pretty popular with them recently. That seems like something they could do. eHug go for the tried and true Drow Ranger Visage. And after the changes to a couple of the items, in particular, we talked about SNY yesterday. You disassemble that. You grab the Silver Edge and the Manta Style. That seems really good. So
yeah, it's a nice way to kind of get the bonuses from the SNY to make yourself very fast and ready to fight. And then, I mean, you're going to want the Manta over the SNY late game anyway. So then you're left with this like random Sage. But now, when you can build it into something as nice as a Silver Edge, it just makes it very nice and convenient. So they ban out the Venge, which I think is a smart ban. Having Venge and Visage with the Drow Ranger Aura just makes it so hard to defend pushes. The damage is extremely high. Damage is way too damn high. And the Queen of Pain as well, having the ranged Drow buff from Precision Aura, it'd be be really, really fast Roshans. They are dire as well. So
That's just the added bonus for Team eHug at this point. So they already have a pretty solid draft. The Spectre Band comes out, which is kind of interesting because I don't know if they would have gone for that hard farming carry, especially because, again, Ush is the SF player. I think Korok can play it probably, but I think they would give it to Ush, and then Korok takes something in the safe lane that's... I wouldn't say he's like a straight-up tempo controller, but I feel like he'd be maybe a semi-carry, something that is a bit more tanky. Centaur kind of fits that mold, but maybe other heroes as well, although Windranger is not something I was expecting, but that could be something that works really well for North American Rejects. We'll have to see how it goes. For Team eHug, they have their last pick coming out here in just a moment. So Windranger last pickup, man. Safe lane, probably?
Yeah, probably. It could also be, you know what I've seen? I've seen them do, like, MSS offlane Windranger and maybe, like, something crazy like a farming Earthshaker. I've actually seen them. I feel like I've seen them do it or some other team. They have a lot of different options for North American Rejects.
10 seconds remaining.
So we'll have to wait and see. The Spectre band from Team eHug is a little bit interesting to me because I feel like that means that they're scared to go like aggro tri-lane. Because like if they picked Spectre as their last pick and had Earthshaker, Shadow Shaman, or even if it was Spiritbreaker, Shadow Shaman, that's a weak lane. It's a double melee lane with a Spectre. You should feel confident enough to go aggro with Drow Visage plus something into that. So that's a little bit interesting of a ban. They go with a Lion last pick. There's not really nothing wrong with a Lion.
No.
I mean, that's a fine hero all around.
You get that 5th pick, you're feeling pretty good about your draft, honestly. That's a pretty solid pickup. That's something else.
It is going to be a one-position Windranger, unless they do some swap-a-roos.
All right, hold on real quick. I have to do something. I apparently forgot to do this. Boom. Got it.
Okay.
My bad about that. Sorry, everybody. We fixed it. Everything's good to go now. We're jumping into the game here in just a moment. This is Game 2 between NAR and Team eHug. Looking forward to the matchup. eHug have to win this, or they're going to be out of the tournament. Of course, this is just the first round of these best-of-3s. Semifinals will be tomorrow. Of course, Root versus Not Today will be, I think, the first matchup, followed up by whichever teams win these next 2 series. And right now, we don't know who's going to take it. And we do have NAR up 1-0, and that's a pretty good lead with the draft they have, as MSS is sliding around. Rip. I don't know what happened there. That's unfortunate.
Oh, he's actually walking on my screen, but he's still sliding on yours. I love it.
That's going to happen until he like charges or does anything, really. Maybe he auto-attacks and that changes it. That's just one of those weird graphical bugs. Either way, we're into the game now. As it stands, it looks like this defensive tri-lane is going to be a Shadow Shaman, Earthshaker, and a Windranger. So Spiritbreaker offlane for MSS. So you called it right. You assumed it was going to be an MSS Spiritbreaker offlane. That's going to be the case. And then it is going to be Ush mid lane SF. So it is kind of like a sort of pseudo semi-carry for Korok, but it's not something I was expecting. I was expecting something more tanky. Like I said Centaur a lot, but that's what I was honestly expecting.
Mm-hmm. Centaur actually would have been not bad either because they have a Drow Ranger, making it very easy to kind of close the gap with the Stampede. But anyway, I think Windranger's fine. This is going to be a really hard lane for the Clockwork. If he can do the cog block to get the creeps away and get maybe a free level 2, but after that, oh, they even counter the ward immediately.
Yeah.
So that no vision for the Clockwork. He's going to have to play extremely scared if he doesn't see any supports. And he's not going to see the rotations either, so that means possible ganks onto the Quap. They have good heroes against the Quap as far as ganking too. They have a very, very long duration hold with the Shackles. It's almost a 3-second hold. It's 2.75 channel duration. And then the Earthshaker to follow up with something, you know, just a Fissure block or something like that. So this is going to be a hard lane for bottom. I mean, this is really, really volatile. And this isn't really a hero that can go like into the jungle to farm.
No, he cannot.
He has to just, his whole objective now is to cog block this, kind of maybe get a free level 2, be annoying, scout out the supports for when they're ganking or smoking, and then check runes. That's pretty much his objective.
This is not going to be easy for Infinity, and this is going to be maybe 2 games in a row where he has a rough time in the off lane. He was level 3 for the longest time on that Phoenix, but he did end up having actually a pretty big impact into the game, although it just wasn't enough. This matchup mid is going to be great for the Queen of Pain early on, especially with that extra precision aura. And then again, as it always is with the Shadow Fiend, later on down the road, double raise the creep wave, head to the jungle, feel good about yourself, but he's missed a lot of CS.
He got almost every single CS. He's got 7 out of the 8, whereas SF has nothing.
The dream.
Now he's got 8 out of 9. We'll just keep going until he misses, right?
Oh, Caster Curse.
He's still completely dominating. I'm surprised that he didn't get the races first. I'm really surprised about that, actually. They have a hero in mid, but I mean, Justin's already level 3. Oh, he also does have the extra damage from from the Drow Aura, which makes it even more questionable why you wouldn't want to go for Raze in this matchup.
Yeah, the Raze might have been the better choice for Ush.
This is just...
Hey, you gotta hope he's not tilting. Ush is having a rough time. Although Raze will come out now, it is level 1. He'll get a couple more CS, but the Shadow Strike's gonna go as well. It's level 2. The damage is gonna be pretty big onto Ush. He doesn't have his bottle or anywhere close to it. Meanwhile, the offlane for both of the offlaners, not great for MSS. He does have level 2. He gets the bash up. There's the air spike from MJW, feeling a bit uncomfortable with the big space cow up his ass. Infinity down bottom has level 2 on the Clockwork as well, sitting with boots first. So maybe not as bad for the offlaners as originally thought. And with the cog block coming out from the Clockwork and depositing the creep wave into the trees here, he will get the wave back in his favor, no problem.
Very, very nice. So he's real adamant about this. I see sometimes people just kind of forget about it and stop doing it, but he's going to get good levels here. This is really, really good for Frankie.
He needs these levels, honestly. As you mentioned, the Clockwork needs to get to a level 6. And then, of course, just a couple of items. That power shot, level 2, does a lot of work against Infinity. But here comes a double damage Shadow Shaman. And he can actually, if he walks up, if this Clockwork decides to get a little bit aggressive, well, hold that thought. Ush gets the first blow. There's a Fisher mid. It looks like Fog rotated over. He was kind of off the map for most of the game early on. He fished up top, and then he roams in mid. Not much to see there other than the kill, which we didn't. But anyways, it's still going to be Ush getting first blood, and he needed that.
Yeah.
And it's even now, actually, in CS, too.
Yeah, with being able to CS freely as with the Quap being dead. I imagine what happened is he was just trying to man fight, saw that he was going to start to win the man fight, but then with the ES ready there, you could line up a couple raises and get an easy kill, so... Yep, Fog is pretty much just camping here in mid, and he really needs to, because with Drow Ranger Aura plus Quap just having the really dominant time in levels 1 through 2, there wasn't much that the Shadow Fiend could have done, but yeah, with that kill, it's really going to make things even and actually in favor of the Shadow Fiend. They can get some stacking done too, that's going to be even better, and they do. I think this is a quad stack already?
You're right, yeah.
And then this one didn't get stacked at all, but that's okay. I mean, they still got something.
That is Ush. What once was a tough start for him now turns into, oh, I'm a Shadow Fiend, I could just do what I normally do and then head to the jungle. It's ridiculous. And it will continue to be ridiculous in 6.84. He has boots, he has now Fisher coming out. Justin will take a double raise to the back of the head, and then he blinks away, make sure he gets out of there in time as Fog long range Fisher again from the tree line, so it's impossible to see coming. Really tough, honestly, for Justin, but there, the smoke is coming mid. This could be huge for eHug. They might even try to wrap around. MSS not really there. He scouted out the Visage. They know that he's up here now, and Fog's nearby as well. They're going to send Ush up as well, but here's Justin. They're just going to let this illusion rune go to the Queen of Pain, and that means that down bottom, Bleak will get the rune for himself as the bounty. So actually, it looks like Ush is going to Bottle Crow instead.
One of the things about Visage is he's really terrible at roaming. He's just awful. One of the slowest heroes in the game at 285 movement speed. His nuke is not a nuke that you can just throw out. You have to have damage being dealt over time, and you have to build up those charges. And even level 1, those charges aren't that impressive. I should say just the damage in general is not that impressive. This is a hero that you primarily just want to pull. You sit here and you harass the offlaner. You're actually pretty good at harassing.
Oh, bottom lane. Ganking, Shackle's going to go. They have Shackle shot if they need it. He's going to try to avoid the tree line. Cogs are going to fly through as well. Power shot not there. He's going to try to juke around. He's got not enough mana to get this TP and get out of here. Power shot snipe from Korak. Gets the kill. They needed that kill. He was getting a lot of that lane, and that's a big kill for Korak as well, who's already up to 24 CS. Now his phase boots as well. Really good start for him.
Yeah, and he can't really come back to this lane because the creep equilibrium is right where they want it to be. He won't be able to get too much experience anymore. So while he had a great start, it's now kind of all gone to pot, really. Like he won't be able to get much more out of this. If he kept that momentum up, hit level 6, it would have been fantastic.
Then he can start roaming.
But now it's kind of over. Like, just see where the lane is. He can't come back into this. So now, yeah, I imagine he goes somewhere else. Maybe tries to find some kind of weird kill on mid, sit around runes and get a kill on support. He can still get a kill on these supports, I think. They're low level enough that he can do it. But
even a bounty rune, anything at this point. That's actually real bad. Talked about it. Infinity now level 4. He's going to look for that 6-minute bounty rune. Maybe he goes back to the lane. The equilibrium is a bit better for him now. The Hex up on the MSS top lane. They could go for an Earthspike. They will find it. The Grave Chill as well. MSS in trouble. Try to run big. Fisher coming out from Fogged. Actually stops all the aggression coming out from eHug, and that is going to keep him alive. MSS not having the greatest of offlanes, though. Infinity, the first game, he was level 3. Now it's MSS at level 3 at 6 minutes into the game. So not the best for the Spirit Breaker so far.
Yeah, but the supports are doing way better for an RV. Like, Earthshaker's stacked a bunch. He's got a kill for this mid laner who was getting crushed at the time. So his job has been great. And also the Rasta got a kill on bottom, and he's also got pretty good levels. I think he's he's level 4 right now with some good farm under his belt, 8 CS. They got a charge plus a smoke up on the top. Oh no,
he's
this
right
could
behind
be
his tower.
Yeah, but I think they can easily get this kill.
Oh, he's not going to be able to get a gun. He doesn't even have Gus. They're going to use the Fisher as well. No bash is coming through. They didn't really wait for Bleak. Now MSS getting turned on. The Hex comes through. The Earth Spike doesn't have the mana for it. MSS going to live. Bleak will give his life. Almost gets the kill with the Ether Shock. He goes down. MSS getting so low, but he stays alive. And he's still only level 3. They just don't have the damage, especially if Bleak can't get up there in time. He's so slow, even with Boots of Speed, man. That Shadow Shaman is just disastrously slow.
Yeah, I think Fog could have waited a little bit longer on the stun there. I think he stacked it just a little bit. Maybe if he waits like 0.75 seconds stun, or 0.75 seconds longer to make sure he doesn't stack any duration of stun abilities, that Bleak could have got up there a little bit quicker. Because Bleak just wasn't in range yet.
The biggest problem with the Shadow Shaman is move speed. It always has been, and will remain to be movement speed for a Shadow Shaman.
Yep.
His tankiness was a problem last patch. That was changed. He's kind of back into the fold here in terms of supports that people they've been grabbing them a lot. He's actually been played so much in these past couple of days, but Midas is going to come out from Ush, which is interesting. We don't usually see this too often on Shadow Fiend's mid, especially when they have a good start.
Yeah, I actually still always like Midas on Shadow Fiend, but if people ask me when I cast this, oh, do you like the Midas here? I usually always say yes.
Yes.
I'm back in that patch where it was like, what, 4 patches ago where everyone bought Midas. Call me crazy and call me weird, but I actually like that patch. So when I see an SF get a Midas, I think it's personally fine.
It just delays that next item, so it's not going to be like that team fighting mech that he would like to have early on.
I think last patch, when Yules was so good, you didn't need the Midas because you could just rush a Yules and it was almost always better. This patch, I think it's a little bit better because Yules has been so nerfed in terms of mana cost. It's okay on some heroes, like already in heroes that already have a big mana pool, but on Shadow Fiend, it's still good, but it's not as great.
There's a haste rune for Infinity. He doesn't see this charge coming. MSS is just trying to find anything, man. He's level 4. The Clockwork is up to 5 after having disastrous lane positioning for a long period of time. Korok might just be going straight blink. He's up to 2,000 gold. He's got 58 last hits. Let's look at the Drow Ranger. Double treads, or rather double Wraithband, treads up and looking to go into a kill. Double treads would be kind of interesting.
That was a thing for a while in Dota 1 with Sven. I saw a lot of Svens go double treads.
That seems odd.
Yeah.
Either way. Drow Ranger's going to be grabbing almost at a killer pretty soon, so that's nice. He's farming the jungle now, so that means that Pandago's getting the wave. And this is very important. Pandago getting up to level 6 is very, very crucial, I think, for eHug. That provides so much tower damage, pressure coming up because of the Drought Aura. We often forget about it, but hold that thought. Justin getting charged mid. There's going to be... he was just too close. MSS couldn't really stop himself, and Fog couldn't get that Fisher off in time, so that's going to be a nice blink away from Justin.
They needed the stun from Fogged, I think. I was kind of watching where Ush's positioning was, so I wasn't 100% looking, but they need to time that a little bit better when you're breaking smokes like that in daytime. It's much harder to smoke in daytime, and maybe they should have waited until 12 minutes. Smokes in nighttime are way more effective than they are in daytime for obvious reasons. So that's the second smoke that hasn't worked out for an RV.
And there was one smoke earlier from eHug that didn't particularly go well, but they're actually just making sure the safe lane is safe right now for Pandago. Earlier it was the Drow. She's just farming. She's up to her Keela and the Morbid Mask now, so Corey's in a very good spot. He's sitting on 78 last hits. He's farming very well, but you could say the same thing about not only Korok, but Ush as well. Ush now with his Midas up. He's already back up to 1,000 gold. Korok has been sitting on a big lump sum of money for a long period of time. If he wanted a Blink Dagger, he could have it now. He is going to buy something. It's a point booster. He's going for the axe first. Maybe slash his way. We'll see.
It looks like they want to get a smoke gank onto the bottom lane. We'll see if they can get it. There is no level 6 online. He's actually on level 4 at 10 minutes. This is really slow leveling.
From everybody.
From everybody. They actually, well, it's okay for Visage. He's almost level 6.
Oh, that wind run.
And this is, I don't think it's going to work.
They have no hook shot. Shackle shot does not lash. Sonic Wave will go. That'll get the kill. There's no TP rotations from anybody from RV. They just let him die under the shadow of Tier 1 Tower. That was awkward.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't see that the ult was ready to go for Justin. But very nice, good damage from him.
Fog's dead.
That's gonna be levels. Yeah, Fog is dead. Pandago hits level 6 as well, And also, one of the changes for Visage were so good. Like, the tower doesn't really do much damage to your Visage familiars.
Yeah.
The creeps don't, like, you have to attack it, I think, 4 times or something by heroes.
Yeah.
So heroes like Bristleback and Axe, where Bristleback just got so many indirect nerfs this patch. It's insane.
Undying, obviously, which we talked about, and then, of course, like you were just saying, the Visage Bridge as well.
So many indirect buffs, or sorry, indirect nerfs too.
Poor Bristleback, man.
I know.
He just wants to run at people. That's all he wants to really do. Bristleback is a hero that I love to see, but he's probably not going to be picked too often. Earth Spike out of the Illusions. Ush really wants to kill onto this MJW line. He's not going to find it. I think Ush bought something. Ogre Club does fly out. He'll have that, so it looks like he's going to be going right into a BKB, or theoretically a Sanj into a Silver Edge, but that's usually get Shadowblade first if that's the case. So
he could also do the Sange and Yasha into splitting it up. He's a hero that would benefit from that too.
I would not mind seeing that. That is a cog block now up under the clockwork. He actually hooks out and actually gets onto MJW. The shackle shot goes all the way. I should say Fisher block, not cog block. And that should have been a kill, but the hook shot gets through and he actually survives. Lots of near misses and near kills from both sides, but no actual like bloodshed really. 5 kills again, very slow start. We'll probably pick up pace here in the mid game once a couple of items come out, but as it stands now, the only thing that matters for eHug is what they just did. That tier 1 tower falling top. They have the Visage Birds, they have the level 6 in the Drow Ranger. They almost have the level 11 actually on the Drow Ranger as well. So, and she's got 2,000 gold up too. So, this Drow Ranger is quietly farming very well.
Yeah, it's not as fast obviously as the Midas Shadow Fiend, but that's just what Shadow Fiends do. They just farm fast. They have a lot of net worth, and he is going to go straight for the BKB. So, no S&Y shenanigans here. It's going to be bottle crowing right now. Visage is up to level 7.5. Very good for him, actually. He was having very slow levels. I thought it was kind of weird they were smoking with him, but he's got some me time now up in the top lane, and it's paid off. You don't have the fast level 6 from line, which is kind of weird and unfortunate, but he'll have it shortly. No fast... Is he going to go for fast blink and let Visage... I guess they're kind of sharing farm at this point. Visage bought the medallion. They still want to get a blink on line, obviously, so...
Well, it depends on what you value higher. You value Ags on Visage higher, or do you value Blink on line higher?
Blink on line.
And I think they probably give MJW a lane for a little bit of time. They try to get him some kills as well. And that's the other thing, is the line hasn't gotten the most kills in the game, or the most assists, so he hasn't really been involved in all those kills that would have gotten him so much experience and gold. However, he will get some farm top lane. He's in a very compromising position if there was a Spirit Breaker charge from anywhere, which, by the way, MSS just hit 6. They're looking to get involved bottom, as they do have the Focus Fire and the Serpent Wards up, but the Glyph comes out. Tower's not taking too much damage, but there's Roche, and Fogged is going to see this. He's going to get the Fisher off. It's only going to be on to 1. He's going to go down to the Birds. MSS now getting chased down as well. Serpent Ward's not taking down the tower just yet. Korok's going to go back in. Focus Fire is still there for a couple of seconds. They will get the tier 1 tower bottom.
Denied!
Oh, Lion with a sick deny. MJW, Mikey Jai White getting it done. Drow Ranger picks up the Aegis as well. They get the tier 1 deny for an Aegis and Roche. What a trade for eHug.
Very, very nice trade. I thought that eHug were just going to go fight them, but they didn't have any mana on the clock, unfortunately. He used a lot of spells and didn't have mana for the hook, and even if you just have mana for the hook, you need more. Like, you need mana for the hook, you need mana for the cogs, and you need mana for the battery assault. And it would be nice also if you had mana for your in this case, your Rocket Flare, because that's what he maxed. So just didn't have mana to go in, and they took a very, very nice trade. Nice deny from MJW.
Yeah, that was huge. Now they have a Yasha up under the Drow Ranger. Justin going for the Aghanim Scepter, which I love, especially in this patch when it's a lot about team fighting, especially in the middle game. This is huge. Sonic Wave's got to do a ton of damage, especially to squishy heroes, which a lot of them are very squishy.
Yeah, I think it's a fine pickup. Also with the Octarine Core, if he wants it later, one of the few heroes I think that is actually good on him and like Lesh. I'm sure there's a couple others, but I can't come to mind with those. But if he does go for that, I'm pretty sure it's what, a 30-second cooldown in his ulti, which is insane. Pure damage goes through BKB. Very, very strong. I think Lincoln's also would be very good for him if he wanted to. And
hook shot. They're going to fight this. They'll find Bleak. And that's a poor Shadow Shaman going down again. Bleak not having the best game, honestly. TP bottom lane. Korok going into the tier 2 tower, rather. He's going to TP away. They have the Sonic Wave. They'll use it. Korok will go down. The last right click from Justin. He has just enough damage. He actually switched to Intreads there to get the kill, I believe. That's huge. That is a nice play. Korok getting a bit too ahead of himself, going for that tier 2 tower. He does put a lot of damage onto it, but doesn't get it done. And now this is a lot of room for eHug here.
We'll see how much damage. Oh, I was going to say what Ush can do, but he's picked up before he pauses on himself. Oh,
That's
man.
where you're like, lag, I'm dead. Whoops.
Whoops.
Whoops indeed. I did not mean to do
He
that.
didn't not.
It's
So
a double
he meant
negative
to do that.
Yeah. Hush, buddy.
So you did. Ah, Infinity's calling him out.
Frankie knew, man. Frankie's not having that. Infinity is gonna. Well, someone's gonna unpause the game.
It's better that you bad manner pause on yourself than someone else, right? That would be bad.
That's not really bad manner pause. I mean,
he paused right after he died.
That's
funny.
true.
Anyway, I was just gonna say we'll see what Ush can do with this high net worth, but at the BKB. But this is exactly why Linus is so good, and he doesn't even have a blink yet. Imagine when he gets that blink in 600 gold. I just looked a minute ago before these kills. He just bought his upgraded magic wand, and he had like 700 gold or something like that, 800. Man, he just jumped up big time.
I mean, that is a big kill. That is the top net worth in the game.
Yeah.
Did he get it with the finger?
He got it with something.
Yeah, he did. He
Finger,
did pick it up.
probably.
I think it was the finger that killed him. I think, honestly, right now, if you're looking at an RV, the biggest issue for me is that MSS just, he's not doing anything, man. This is a Spirit Breaker. A Spirit Breaker's so good in the early game and mid game. He's done nothing this game.
They tried. They didn't coordinate their smoke ganks as well. I don't really think that's on MSS either. I think Fog actually could have been a little bit better about when he stunned the first time up top. I think it was way too soon, and then he didn't stun at all when they smoke ganked for the one in mid. Either way, whoever it was on, the communication wasn't there. It needed to be wait for my stun or stun now. Whichever it was, they weren't all on the same page.
Yeah.
And you can't do that, especially when you're smoke ganking. I also think it's a bit of a mistake smoking, like I said, in daytime when it was going to be nighttime in like 2.5 minutes. It's just so much better. It's so much easier to get coordinated ganks off and smokes in nighttime than it is in daytime. But they take a tower top, they trade it, they use the wards though, but this is exactly what Drought does with the Visage especially.
Yeah. They're just going to go to work on bottom. There was the tier 1 for a tier 1 trade. Now the collateral damage is the tier 2 bottom, which I think if you're an RV, you can't really contest this, especially without wards, as you were mentioning. They'll go mid, they'll look for a tier 1 tower mid there. Ush is nearby. They're going to sit right behind him, but guess what? The trade is not stopping for eHug. They're going to knock on the tier 3 tower door. They're rolling in. The Visage Bird's going up. They have the marksmanship, or rather the precision ore, still ready to go. And Fog will get a Fisher, but not a block onto Justin. Not that it matters. He's got Blink. That's not the hero you really want to block. And Shackle Shot doesn't go. Korok has had some really good angles here, but he just hasn't had them connecting. They take a lot of damage on this tier 3 tower. That's a big, big step up for eHug. Getting that tier 2 tower, yes, they lose the tier 1 middle, but they don't care. As long as they keep putting damage on the tier 3s, that's the most important thing right now for eHug.
Corey should have used his precision ore though. I think they almost even killed that tower. They would have had a lot of extra attacks onto, or they would have had a lot of extra damage with the precision ore active. There's no like bad reason to not use it unless you know you're going to find another engagement very close by where all the ranged units are going to be attacking it. That was like the premier time, so I'm surprised he didn't pop that. Could have been if not a dead tier 3, very, very close to dead. It would have been like 100 HP or something.
MJW is in a bad spot. He almost says his Hex. He's about to lose some gold. Oh, maybe not. Fisher's going to go through. Now the charge in, and finally MSS will get involved in a kill here. Although he only charges. Either shock is actually the kill is picked up by Bleak. He's actually got a lot of gold. I don't know how much he lost. The courier is going to fall. I think it had wards on it. I believe it did. And a smoke. That's kind of unfortunate coming up from the side of an RV. Aegis now reclaimed. How close? So he didn't lose that much gold from his death.
No.
Sonic Wave coming in. Korok in trouble. He'll fall. He just bought that Aghanim Scepter, but he is already back up to buyback.
That was really greedy. He focused fired familiars. And then Justin actually with a nice play, he blinked to block him inside the trees. So he was cornered by both the Visage and the blinked in Quap. Nice play by Justin, but kind of greedy play for focus firing, just a familiar. Not really worth it.
Ush just slowed his farm down. The Drow was actually right near him in terms of net worth. The Drow was pretty far behind. This charge seems a bit too aggressive from MSS. They rotated up there for that Drow Ranger. They had all the time in the world. Aghanim Scepter coming in. Hookshot just misses on MSS, but I still think he's in a lot of trouble. Grave Chill is going to go. He's got charge. He might have to use it. Here comes Ush trying to body block. They will get the kill with the flare. Familiar Stop's going to go through. Ush going to take some damage. Fisher out as well. Ush does not want to BKB. He pops it a bit too late. Last right click will get the kill. Justin gets Shackle Shot. There's the focus fire. They need this kill. They can't find it. Korok needs a power shot, but he's gusted up. Korok about to fall. Gets fingered. 3 down. eHug looking for more. They want this tier 2 tower. Fog gets a Fisher off. Only the supports will live, and eHug are taking this game dramatically. They have a 7,500 net worth lead, and they're looking to keep it up there.
Well, even if he did pop it earlier, obviously the Sonic Wave goes through. It's pure, so it's one of the reasons why Quap is so valued right now. It's just having that pure damage nuke. totally nullifies the BKB. The extra damage from the familiars is massive. This is just a nice standard Drow lineup and with a Visage, and it's working very nicely.
Yeah,
Look at the damage. Oh my god.
The machine gun's coming out, just right-clicking the tower, takes it down. The tier 3 now dead. The Rax is well in trouble. They have no glyph. This Rax is gone. This melee Rax is in trouble, and there's no way they can defend it. Sonic Wave's going to go through. MSS in trouble. Oh, the familiar stomp's coming out. Soul Assumption blows up one. MSS won't go down, but at least they get the melee Rax on the backside free hug. They'll back away. Hookshot's available. Power Shot will go through. No Blink Dagger. They have no way of getting it and initiating. They might get one familiar. Now the counter initiation. Blink in, Earth Spike, and Hex from MJW. Charging onto him. Will he make it away? It looks like he will. Power Shot. He TP's out just in time. MSS will continue to charge, looking for the next closest person, or, I mean, he's still going MJW, but he's going to cancel it sometime in the near future. He'll do it just right now. Big victory for eHug there, getting that melee Rax and a couple of kills in the process.
Oh, you know what? I think that Drow was actually, when he was pushing bottom, was close enough to the familiars that they still got applied the aura. I think he might have been standing close enough, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But he's down to, you see how much damage those familiars do, man. Right now, with the full damage up onto him, it's 98. With the precision aura active, or if he is close enough to the familiars, it's hitting for like, let's see, what is it actually? If I can do some quick math here, 36%.
He's going to walk next to him soon, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. Come on, get over there. Did you just pick up a butterfly too?
Oh my god,
that's a ton of extra agility. Ooh, it's going to be really, really good.
Narvi seem like they're almost too far behind at this point. They have no blink coming out for the Earthshaker anytime soon. I don't know if that will really be enough. Korok has been stifled after getting this Aghanim Scepter. Bleak was very close to Blink Dagger. He's getting there now. Ush has been sitting on BKB Yasha for the longest time. His Midas has not paid off. They'll find Justin. The Shackle's going to go. They need a Shackle shot. Hook shot in. Justin gets away. Infinity making so much space. Justin looking to charge back in. Shackle shot does not latch. Fisher comes out as well. Bleak looking to fight here maybe. Hexes up Justin, but now left out to dry. One right click, two. Sonic Wave will secure the kill. And Odage is called by the announcer. eHug in a very good spot.
God, the damage from Drow is so insane. He's hitting so hard, so fast. I also have to say that was a really nice play from Infinity up in the top. Right after they killed the SF, he, I forget who it was that was getting focus fired. I think it was Quap?
It was, yes.
And then he cogged him backwards and stopped his extra damage from coming out. And it really helped him. Nicely played there from Infinity back then.
Oh boy,
Corey's doing so much damage on this
Drow. They have a
Drow.
Solar Crest on Pandago, which I guess isn't the most expensive item in the world, but it still is nice to have.
It's so good here too. It's just the perfect item in this situation.
Yeah.
And the problem is like their carry is a Windrunner who doesn't have that much farm. SF can't do. Even though he's the top net worth in the game, this BKB is just like useless against both Drow's physical damage, the Visage's birds. They all don't care about BKB, and also the Quap doesn't care about BKB because it will go through it. So maybe it was a misdraft of drafting the SF. Maybe you shouldn't go for BKB, but you kind of have to against Lion and Clock.
It's so weird to see these.
You have to go BKB.
I mean, you do. You have to pick up that item. It's something, but what else do you go for? Maybe you go for something earlier. I mean, he's just been stuck on BKB Yasha for the longest time. Maybe it was the Midas that was the worst problem of all. Maybe he gets like a mecha they could fight maybe earlier on. But
I don't think this is coming down to his items. He had to. I think the Midas was fine. He has to go BKB anyway. I think it's there's really a slow progression of farm on a Korok. He's 1 in 4 and 0.
Yes.
It's been a part of 1 kill. I mean, they only have 3 kills, so I guess that's 30%. Or whatever you want to say.
This kind of reminds me of that Root Wheel second game, where Root were in a commanding position that first game. Second game came through. They drafted some interesting stuff. I say interesting, that's putting it nicely.
I just think eHug's draft is really nice. And I was worried initially because the Visage, that first smoking, I was like, wait, whoa, why are we ganking with the Visage and smoking? But then afterwards, they re-stabilized the lane. They made sure SP wasn't getting anything, and then Visage got a pretty nice level 6. And Pandago's got a lot of farm too, so they played it nicely.
I feel like we're seeing why Quap is first pick, first ban in every pro game in 6.84. Justin has put in so much work, it almost feels like it's impossible to gank it because of all the space his team is creating. And also the fact that he's pumping out so much damage.
I love the Lincolns. I was talking about that. It's a really good item this game.
Yep.
He can also just slap it. Yeah, just slap it onto the Drow. How close does he have to be to get these? Oh, he has to be pretty close to the familiars, I think, actually. Anyway.
Jump in, Serpent Wars. They're going to grab Infinity. He won't be able to get. He does get his Blade Maul if he hooks away. They actually already lose 2. Somehow makes it out. They lose the birds. Now the Drow getting right click, but she's got that Aegis. Look at that butterfly go. The Shackle shot the raise. Aegis finally down, but 3 heroes dead on the sideline for Narvi. And she'll respawn. They'll go right back to work. There is no buybacks. Luckily, most of the respawns only about 20 seconds. The glyph is already down. Tier 3 tower more than likely going to fall. Rax, with how much damage they're pumping out, I think Rax is dead too, at least one of the buildings. Ush pops the Manta style. Butterfly doing so much work. The Lincoln Sphere still defending. Corey on the back line here. They will respawn in just a second. How greedy are eHug feeling right now? How bold? How ballsy? Well, they're ballsy enough to take down this range Rax, and they're just going right through that backdoor protection. It will stay alive. MW Shackle shot up. There's the Hex. They'll grab him with a kill with Ush, finally getting that right click. MSS charging and looking for maybe Pandago or the Drow. Actually finds some Infinity. They'll go on Pandago. Cog block not going to go through. They're kind of in a tight, confined space from both sides. MSS soul assumption in. Now the Shackle shot. They will find Pandago. The Familiar's going in the right click. Now the hook shot in. Double Cog can come through. Sonic Wave. Korok is low. Not dead yet, though. Ush will finally fall, but so will Infinity. Fog is going to go down. The right click from the Drow Ranger. The Familiar is doing so much work. That's the cleanup crew coming out from eHug. It's 20-6. And the only two heroes alive as they buy back at the Spirit Breaker. They've got to deal with this Quap, the Familiars, as well as the Drow Ranger. And this should be, I think, a full set of racks. Buybacks come in from every hero. I don't know if they can get anything here. Ush will jump in. They have the charge, but they won't use it on the Drow Ranger. That's just GG.
He used it, and the Lincoln was already on top of him. GG coming out. When you're down this much from a Drow, they just have absolutely no answers. There's no farm on Korok. The farm on SF doesn't matter because all their heroes are so good against it. And the Drow with the Visage Birds, man, it's just sickening how much damage comes out. And well played by eHug, man.
Yeah,
they closed the series 1-1.
Yeah, that you could talk about the draft maybe for the side of Narvi, but I think the draft from eHug was outstanding, as you mentioned. They played solid Dota throughout the entirety of the game. Queen of Pain got off to a fast start. Drow Ranger got off to a very fast start top lane, and they gave the jungle to the Drow Ranger. They gave the lane up to the Visage as well, so he got a fast level 6. And I think that level 6 for the Visage, and what happened after that was probably one of the most important things in that game.
I think Pandago just felt really comfortable in Visage. He seemed like he knew exactly what he was doing. His micro with his birds was pretty impressive. He seemed like a solid hero for him and maybe something that they want to pick more. And I think Visage is good in his patches. You don't have to pick him with Drow right now.
Right.
But it's just an added bonus. And I think that when team... Sorry, blanking right here. Narvi saw the Visage. I think they're thinking, okay, they're picking Visage because he got buffed in this patch and maybe forgot about the Drow. I think the Drow is a nice follow-up for obvious reasons. So, nice draft. Well played by pretty much everyone at eHug. I think that Justin was off to a fantastic racing start in the mid lane. They had to secure a lot to help out Ush. Was it too much? Did they not focus enough on shutting down other lanes? I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, top lane wasn't getting anything, like you mentioned. Spirit Breaker didn't get anything, but nice play by eHug.
Well, the series is now 1 apiece. We will come back with the deciding Game 3 in just a moment, guys, here. This is WCA America. Again, single elimination, best-of-3 tournament. Whoever moves on, very important, right before the TI5 qualifiers as well, getting as much 6.84 practice as possible, and of course the prize is fantastic here. $50,000 in prize money on the line, a trip to Shanghai, China as well, and of course the grand finalists will play a best-of-5 here in, of course, sunny Los Angeles, California on June 1st. So looking forward to that. But we still have this third game to get through. We'll take a quick break, guys. Before we leave, I'm Mott. He's Tralf. You can follow us on Twitter at MottDota for myself, at TralfDota for him. Big shout out to the production guys running all this stuff. We're going to take a quick break, jump into game number 3 as well. Stick around, everybody.